Hi, and welcome to this quick demo on relationships and linking within your database within the MyTaskHelper system. In this demo, we're going to walk you through how you can set up relationships and how you can link to other entries and other things that you may be tracking. So we find ourselves here on the home page, and I'm simply going to log in to my system. Okay, so now I'm logged in, and in this demo I've set up an example where we have a school ABC, and school ABC wants to track they have some teachers, those teachers have students, those students have assignments that they're getting grades on, and the school also wants to track how many courses that may be assigned to a particular teacher. So we got a lot of different things that we want to track, and I'm going to show you how you can do that within one simple view within MyTaskHelper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my project here, School ABC. Okay, and the first thing it takes me to is this records field. And there's three main action items that you're going to want to do. You can go to forms if you want to build a form. This is the form builder. Records is kind of your view or your display of your data. And widgets, we're not going to cover this in this demo, we'll cover that in other demos. Widgets is how you can share this data with other people or on your website, whether you want to do it through an embed code or if you just want to have a permanent link. So we go to records, and here we have our three teachers, Sarah, Chris, and Cindy. And the fields that we've set up is their name, their email address, and their phone number. I could have made this a lot more fields. I could have done their background, a lot of different things. You can see here I can resize the kind of the view if I want to. But here we have our three teachers. I'm going to jump over to forms and show you how I built this. So when I go into forms, I've got a pull down here that tells me which form I'm currently on. And I'm currently on the teachers form, and I've got three data fields for this project: name, email, and phone. If I wanted to add any type of field, I could add it in here to put in their, let's say I wanted to track their cell phone. I could just simply put in cell phone, add field. As I mouse over these fields, you can see I have these options to manipulate and change some of the attributes. So maybe I want to make under this validation, if I want to make the name a required field, I just check can't be blank. That makes it a required field. I'll go ahead and make it a required field. And you'll see that there's a number of different things that you can do here. On the email one, you can see I've already set up the validation to say this field denotes that it's asking for the email. If you wanted to say, personal website, maybe I want to track maybe the teachers have their own personal website. Click add field, and then I could go to validation and check URL. Okay, so this is the teachers form. This is kind of the data that I'm tracking on these teachers. When I pull down here, you'll see these are the other forms that has data that I'm going to want to track and display. Students, we can go to the students form to see that we're asking for the student's name, their email address, and what program they're in. Again, same thing as with the other one. We could have done, we can add as many fields as we want here. And we can select all different types of varieties of whether we want it to be drop downs, radio buttons, tables. But let's show you the other. Okay, and so there's students, and then I've got assignments, and I've set this up to be just week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I could easily just add a week 6. And because I want to track their grades, I'm going to make this a number. You can see it's just the system is so quick in its response time. It just updates it right there. And then finally, teaching assignment. This is I'm tracking which courses are assigned to that teachers have as assignments. Okay, so now that we've got the various forms that we want to track, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to go into this button here that says relationships. I'll just draw your attention really quickly. You can see here we've got a couple of options as far as we can customize these forms and integrate them into websites and other areas. We can manipulate the field rules. We can duplicate the form. But I'm actually going to go into relationships. When I go into relationships, you can see here I've already started to set up some of these relationships. Now, when you first come in here, this is I'm just going to take some of these relationships apart and then rebuild them to show you how easy it is. But one thing I just want to show you, if you just notice that, one of the things that MyTaskHelper has done, and it's so ingenious, we make usability one of our main and first priorities. And so to the extent possible, we really tap into drag and drop functionality. We want to make it as easy on the end user as we can. So I'm going to take apart some of these things, and when you first come into relationships, this is how it will look. So I've got 4 different forms here. These correspond to these same forms up here, and there are my 4 forms. Now, to create relationships, all I have to do is simply drag these things into the box. So I want to associate students with teachers. There you go. But I want to go one step further and say these students will have multiple assignments that I want to track. So I'm actually going to put the assignments into the students box. And so you can see I can collapse these. So now it looks like I just have 2 forms, but in reality I can expand that to say teachers have students and students have assignments. And the last thing I want to track here is the assignments. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the assignments just in this teachers box, because teachers have teaching assignments. So now I've started to build that relationship. Okay, if I click on this relationships again, it goes away. I can jump back in there anytime I want to just by clicking on relationships. Now I'm going to go to my students form, and I need to set the parameters around this relationship. And at the bottom of your form, you'll see here I can specify teachers have many students, maybe they only have 1 student, or they belong to students. So in this case, teachers have many students, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now this impacts how I want to view that. So I want to view this by the teacher's name, link students with teacher using the student's name. So if I wanted to change the ordering and the filter of this, I could say this is kind of how I want to sort this. If I want to sort it by program, but in this case I like that setting. I want to show the teacher's name in relation to the student's name. Great. I'd move on to my next field here, assignments. Students, because we put students embedded as a child into we put assignments as a child into the student form. So students have many assignments. If there was just one assignment that I wanted to track, it would just be students have an assignment. And so in this case, I'm going to I want to sort it by the student name, and I'm going to link it to it's going to display it by the weeks. And then finally, teaching assignments. Teachers have many assignments, and I'm going to leave these settings the same. Okay, I'm now ready to start working with kind of the view or the records of my data. So I've preloaded some data in here. I've got, again, 3 teachers. So if I just click on records, there's my 3 teachers. Now as I mouse over, well, before I get to that, you can see that I'm currently viewing, just like we had on the forms, I'm currently viewing teachers. Now I could say, let me see students, and it's going to show me all the students. I'd loaded 20 students in here. So there you see 20 students. Now you notice earlier I said on the students I'm asking for their name, their email, and their program. I didn't say I was asking for their teachers, but because this is the relationship we set up, we now have that in the view. I could view assignments to see how students had done on a particular assignment. and I can see teaching assignments. But let's go back to teachers, because this is where I want to start. So here's our three teachers. As I mouse over the first teacher, Sarah Jones, you can see I have a couple of options here. One, I can view all of the students associated with Sarah Jones, or I can view all of the teaching assignments. The reason I have both of those options is because if you think back to the relationships, I said teachers have students and teachers have teaching assignments. So if I would remove the teaching assignments from this, I would just see teacher has students. So as I mouse over Sarah Jones, I'm going to say, you know what? Show me all of Sarah's students. Click on it. Sure enough, there's all of Sarah's students. Now, let's dig in a little further, because I said students have assignments. And so I could go to the first student here, Jennifer Johnson, and say, show me all of Jennifer's assignments. Well, it turns out she doesn't have any. I haven't entered any assignments for the students yet. And so I could go through here and just enter in, a few grades here, and which I'm doing now. And now I'm going to associate it with the student, Jennifer Johnson. And now it's just reloaded it and asked me to do it again. But now if I come back to Jennifer, so if I go back to teachers, view all of my students, Jennifer Johnson, all assignments, there's the grades that I just submitted for this student. So here I can see on week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and how that student did. Can come back up here, and I can go into the students. If I want to enter the data a different way, and say, let's say for Bradley Jones, I can go in and just do add assignments. Now I'm entering just data for this person. So I'm going to give Bradley some data here. Now if I go to view all of Bradley's assignments, there's the data I just entered. If I click on Bradley's name, I can still get this to that same place by clicking all assignments. Same thing with the teachers. If I come back here and let's say I want to view if I come in here into students and I want to see Sarah Jones, I can view all of Sarah's students, or I can view all of Sarah's teaching assignments. So I can go either one. If I view all teaching assignments, she's signed up to teach History Section 1, History Section 2, and History Section 1 in the winter. If I go back into Sarah Jones and I want to view all of Sarah's students, Sarah has 7 students. And then here I can get into the, viewing how these students have done. So hopefully this gives you an overview of how you can work with relationships and the linking of data from multiple data sources in multiple forms. Thank you very much. Hope this has helped. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're going to be releasing more demos like this to show you just how easy it is to work within the MyTaskHelper system. But in this demo, we've showed you how you can set up relationships and linking from several different data sources. Thanks a lot.